Language of Hebrew is often referred to as Lashon HaKodesh, the holy language. But does it have actual holiness to it, or is it just the language that the people receiving the Torah happen to have been speaking? Later on in Jewish history, Torah was taught much in Aramaic, as you can see in the book of Daniel and in the Talmud. So what intrinsic value does the Hebrew language have? So there are different opinions. What makes the Hebrew language inherently holy? Maimonides says that Hebrew is inherently holy because it doesn't contain vulgarities. If you look at the original language of Hebrew, it doesn't contain vulgarities. Then there's the obvious reason that Hebrew is the language in which God gave the Torah to the Jewish people at Mount Sinai. So regardless of what you happen to know about later generations and them studying Torah in Aramaic, there's nothing that's going to substitute the experience of receiving the Torah at Mount Sinai and Hebrew being the language in which it was received. And also, it's the language in which the Torah was written. Hebrew is Lashon HaKodesh, so much so, the rabbis say, that there's a mitzvah, an obligation on parents to teach their child Hebrew language. It says when a child is able to talk, the first thing the parents should teach them is Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe Morasha Kehilat Yaakov. God has given Moses the Torah, and Moses gave it to us, to the entire congregation of Israel and Jacob. And Rashi, in fact, says that when the Torah says you should be careful to observe even easy mitzvot, simple mitzvot, Rashi gives an example. What is a mitzvah kala, a simple mitzvah? That is the mitzvah of speaking in Hebrew. So despite being the language that the Jews happen to have received the Torah in, it's not just an accident. It's actually purposeful. Hebrew is an intrinsically holy language and has intrinsic holiness and value to it, despite the fact that the Torah is indeed taught and discussed in many, many other languages. Hope you enjoyed.